Hello. Would you love to have amazing experiences? Do you love that? And do you love it when your connections are meaningful? Type yes in the chat if all these things are true for you. And do you also have a purpose that you want to get out there? I am creating an event that combines all of those things. It is called the Valentine Soiree. People are calling it, first they started calling it the event of the season, and then they said, no, we should call this the event of the year. My name is Avital. And usually I tell you that I am known as a healing breakthrough facilitator, but we are now expanding that to being a creator of galactic experiences. And there's all these people who've been telling me that this is just the most phenomenal event idea that they've seen. The way that I'm running it is really amazing. It's really, really unique. And it should be in other cities. So other cities have already contacted me to ask to have something similar there. And they're telling me, let people know what you're doing and to experience this. It shouldn't just be kept for Denver. But you could go to valentinesoiree.com. So it is in Denver on February 12th. And what I thought I would do is share more of what is behind the scenes. So for those of you curious about how do I create a really meaningful experience for people that is just ecstatically fun and helps draw people together, but also helps us grow in who we are. Here's the thing. I consider myself to be somebody who's into all of this because I'm a motivational speaker, right? So I'm into all of the personal development, and I love working with entrepreneurs and connecting with them, and all of the spiritual motivation that I do, right? Everything combined in there. So it's like taking these people who are really universally connected, but really have a purpose and a mission and want to live life in the most conscious way possible, but also make fun experiences for ourselves. And that's really also what the Dewdrop community was founded to do. And my background, I have an engineering degree and a dance major from college. I was a program manager at Microsoft straight out of college. And then I became a fitness director and a teacher trainer, and then doing more of the public speaking. And I've been through tons of leadership trainings, tons of relationship training, tons of business training, right? I'm also a coach. I run a meditation group, a group coaching program. All of this background are skills that I'm needing in order to make this event happen and draw all of that together. And the first thing is that helps people feel really supported who are working on this event, who are wanting to come, is that I'm a really organized person. And even the things that I haven't done yet, I know all the things that need to be done. It's just a matter of time of getting to them. But people feel really supported and they feel a greater sense of trust when those that they're working with have something that's very organized, that clearly communicates everything that they need, that helps them stay on schedule. The other thing that I've been doing is paying attention to other events. And oddly, I've been to all these parties where I felt quite bored. And part of that was that I just wasn't seeing the people there who I was having the deeper conversations with, people who are really interested in sharing what they're doing in life and what makes life amazing, and staying in a conscious state so we can have that type of conversation, learn about what we do, and help support each other in what we do. So hint, hint, that's one of the things, is just paying attention to what messaging I'm putting into this event and encouraging those who I feel that type of connection with to come. And so for any event, it doesn't have to be the same concept that I'm thinking, but for any event, what is the alignment alignment point that you want amongst the people coming so that they have a good time because they have enough to connect around that are the things in common to them that are important, right? Any two people can find something to talk about. But the key is it the things that you're both most passionate about? And that's what you want to tie together, right? I've also noticed a lot of these events, you're kind of left on your own. There isn't that much to do. And that, of course, is a fine way to do things. But what I like to do is to make sure that, if I don't have great people to talk to, that I have something else entertaining to do at the event. So there's a mix going into this event of structure of all of these surprises and interesting things that are happening, and also the space to have that freedom and flexibility to just do what you want the entire time, or most of the time, because we want that in our lives too, right? Not everyone wants to be that structured. So it's keeping in mind how to tune into the different types of people who may be coming, even within the framework of having similar interests. You're still going to have all the different personalities there. And that's the spice of life. So that's what's really, really fun. But the other thing I did, especially, was pay attention to the events that feel more spectacular, that feel more entertaining, more intriguing. And when I was in Disney World this past November, I paid a lot of attention to what were some of the things that they do at this amusement park that I could incorporate into the Valentine Soiree. And I'm not telling you all of the things because I like to keep some element of surprise, and I encourage you to just come to the event to find out. I haven't been promoting this yet, but little secret, we are planning to live stream a part of the event. So some of you who are not there, are not able to come, you'll still be able to get sneak peek of what is happening. And you'll see the photos, of course, because we're going to have lots of them. What we're also doing to help facilitate the connections at the event is actually sneaking in games that are going to help facilitate conversation. So you want to remember that this is a charity event and this is a party. The charity, by the way, is No Kid Hungry. So there's a nice purpose behind it. But this is a party. And so I want to make sure that even if I'm facilitating certain games and weaving that in, that it still feels like a party amidst that. And the other piece of this is developing communities, helping people connect. There's the Uber Darby, Pennsylvania. Okay, Joe, I don't know what that means. If there's a city in Pennsylvania or if that's the name of something. Maybe you could explain more of what you're sharing there. Or maybe you just want this to be in Pennsylvania. My brother lives in Philadelphia, so maybe I could come out there and do something there too. But here's the deal, developing community. And I mentioned having the games, but I'm having events beforehand so that people can start connecting, especially the singles who might not have somebody to go with, just to make sure you start to make friends who are at the event. Like we're having a single mingle beforehand. We're also having a workshop that's how to love and be loved. And this is about connecting more deeply. And it's actually through movement. So we're doing partner yoga, we're doing movement connection, we're doing tantric breathing. So that will also help build relationships before the event happens. But also you could say in a way, the intention is to help break down barriers and help us feel more connected and develop more community by having more events. So there's an entire community within the community. There's about 75 people who by the end of the day, maybe more than that, who are going to be coming together to actually make this event happen, to put it on. And I've created a platform where we can all connect just as people as well and learn who we are. We had a holiday party for the people planning the Valentine's party. So that's kind of fun. And we even invited the people who were the early ticket buyers, to come in and get in the mix and meet. So you want to think about when you develop community, And generally, everything moves more smoothly because when they understand each other, when people have relationships, it's a lot easier for harmony to develop. But also, people are way more excited to be involved in something when they have those relationships. And by the way, this is kind of like an overview template. I could just talk on and on and on and on about all of these ideas. So I'll just mention two opportunities. One is that we're creating a book out of this event, and we are featuring leaders in Denver in this book. So we want to honor our leaders locally. And I wrote a chapter in this book also explaining some of the principles because there are messages behind the scenes that are going into this event. And the other side of this is that I have somebody who came on who wants to intern with me because he's been hearing about this event and is so excited about it. So he's interning on event coordination. And that's something that you can talk to me about also for future events, because then you could just come in and see exactly what am I doing that might be unique. You know, I don't even know everything that I'm doing that's unique. I mean, really, I'm just combining what my past experiences are, what my ideas are, but the bigger thing is what everyone is telling me. So that's one of the other keys here is this is a massive collaboration. There's a question you want to ask is not what do I want to create, what do I envision necessarily, but what is trying to happen, and marry those two together. And all of the people who are doing things in this event, almost all of them, it's because they came to me and they said, oh, I have this idea, or I'd love to support you in this way. And so there are a couple ideas that I had on my own that I put out there to say, okay, is there enough interest in this? Does somebody come forward who could help make this happen? All right, so there's a couple ideas that have been nixed, but most of them, somebody else also came forward. But I wouldn't do it unless there was the energy. I was even ready this year for the Valentine's event to just throw a tiny thing for my friends if there wasn't the energy. So I started by just having conversations with a few friends. And once I saw 3 or 4 people excited about the idea and wanting to contribute something, then I said, okay, this can happen. And it just took on a life of its own and grew way bigger. And that's really because it's not just the end, the one time thing that's happening for this event on February 12th, but it's because I'm creating a network, I'm creating a community, I'm creating opportunity for people to share their gifts, right? I'm also helping people figure out how to present themselves really well. So that's a lot of my background in business. So I wanted you to also get that sense that this isn't just a one moment thing, that all the energy going into it is part of it, all the community development beforehand. We have events before and afterwards as well. So it's not just a one time thing. And I have no idea if this will carry on all year. Right now, it's a few months that this is going on, but we'll likely start planning the next year. We're actually already talking about it. So we'll start planning the next year right away from when February 12th happens, and we'll even talk about opportunities for the following year on February 12th. It's another key for when you're at somewhere, you kind of get the first pick, first options of some of these things. But I remember I was living up in the mountains in California at a yoga retreat center, and I created a spiritual dance movement weekend retreat. And I decided we're going to do a performance. I love to perform dance. And there were all these other talented people in the community who had other things that they wanted to contribute. But I also thought it would be a neat idea for the participants in the retreat to have the opportunity to perform. And I created a choreographed, very simple choreographed piece for them because they had to learn it that weekend. And they had a lot of them zero dance experience beforehand, and then also space for them to move as they are and bring to light some of the principles that we were investing in during the weekend of learning our authentic movement. And everyone agreed, except for one person, to perform. And he was a professional dancer and was kind of done performing. He just wanted to watch. So he wasn't shy about performing. And it ended up being, for these people, what they said was one of the best experiences that they had in their life. So here we are. I've done it. It's been amazing, and we're planning another one. I'm getting all these people ready to do all their different performances and MC and getting people to come to the retreat, right? And we're getting the costumes ready and everything's set. We got the space and we'll have a, video camera and all right. So all these people are getting involved. And as we're leading into the weekend, during the week before, we found out that there were going to be huge, I think it was rainstorms. And there were predicted to be all these floods, all this wind, and it wasn't going to be safe for people to drive up the mountain to come to the retreat center. So what happens? People heeded the warnings. They listened. They canceled their weekend retreat. And we decided we shouldn't have the retreat. We'll do it again another day because we wouldn't be having enough people. And it wasn't safe to really be encouraging people to come anyways, or to be leaving their homes that evening. And I was so sad because I had put so much into it and I was so excited and I didn't want to disappoint all of these people who were getting ready to be involved. And one of the people who was going to be involved wrote to me and said, but you know what? Like everyone's really proud of you. Like they feel the energy of this. It was great. And I'm going, oh, the actual event, like the actual weekend retreat, the actual performance didn't actually have to happen for people to feel the benefit of it. Now, for a lot of people, when they're attendees, and they just buy a ticket for February 12th, right? You just show up, you have fun that one night. But for all of us creating the event, we're thinking about you the entire time we're creating it. And we're thinking about it afterwards of what can we give you as a gift, in response to coming, to bringing your energy forth. So we're here sending energy to you. We're already thinking about a gift for you. I think about the holiday time and how it feels inside you when you're shopping for gifts for others. Like how exciting to be giving these gifts. Well, all those people feel it too. They feel the energy of your enthusiasm of thinking about them and wanting to give something to them. So that's one example of how there's already all of this energy happening. Not just a one-time event, it's a constant thing. But I will tell you the other thing that is happening for me personally is that I am living and breathing this event day and night. One of the keys to making something amazing is to be passionate about it. Now, granted, this event is also giving me the passion because I mentioned already how I watch and I see is there interest, is there energy, is there flow. And because this by itself also has so much flow that it gets me excited about it and it gets me want to feed back into it. But this is very important to make sure that you really feel passionate about it. And the amount of energy you put into something, right? They always say is the more that you get back, the more that you get out of it. And I feel like that could be part of what's making this kind of gravity well of so many other people being excited about it. And we're a month away from the event and we've already sold more tickets than the total that we sold last year. And of course, last year was in a pandemic and we had to have, smaller numbers. But this is huge. And this is really going to be an amazing experience. And the idea is for people to already feel it and have opportunities to get involved. And then I mentioned the little tip about how there are some underlying messages to this event. So you've probably already catch that I mentioned a few of them, but I'll just say another one. So you can get an idea or an example of the uniqueness and the way that we weave messages into a party. But what I want to do is leave people feeling expanded and uplifted, not just having a fun time, but to feel happier inside yourself, to feel more expansive inside yourself, to feel like you could have a better life going forward. And we came up with the idea because we're having a fashion show, we came up with the idea to have sponsors get outfits designed and get the opportunity to walk the runway. As people are expressing their interest in being a sponsor, the question comes up, well, who can walk the runway? Because we're so used to models walking the runway, people who are trained to walk, and traditionally people who look a certain way. Now, Denver is a little more open. Like, I've seen a variety of shapes and sizes. But the other thing is age, right? When do you see somebody older walking the runway? Usually you don't see kids either. We're not gonna have kids at this event, but we have two women in their 70s walking the runway. And do you know the phrase, it's what's inside that counts? Now, do you think that traditionally started because there was an opinion that some people didn't look that great on the outside? So it's what's inside that's important, and you'd say that to the people who don't look that great on the outside according to your perception. But what is that perception? So now think through history, think through time of the day when much larger women were coveted to be painted nude, right? And then in the 80s, you had like stick thin. That was the thing. And now we're allowed to have a little bit more shape and curvatures. But I want you to think back to each of those time periods. So to the time when women were larger, and that was the coveted body shape. Were there no stick skinny women at that time? There were. And then at the time when the stick skinny women are coveted, were there no curvy women at the time? There were. So here's the deal. If all of our body types exist at one time and our perception changes of what beauty is, why not see beauty in everyone, on our exterior of everyone? So that it's not about what's inside that counts, but it's about everyone is beautiful. Maybe that message makes you choke up. So, all ages, shapes, sizes are walking the runway, and everyone's going to look beautiful and remarkable. And we're going to see both their inside and their outside come out on the runway. So simple. I don't even have to say anything about it at the event, but we're going to show beauty in everyone. And that's going to help all of us love our own selves even more by seeing these people who all love themselves also. Never thought that I would get into the fashion industry at all, because you might think it's such a materialistic thing. But there's so much behind the outer beauty. And you know this when you see a picture of a beautiful woman, it's also because of her personality that's coming through. It's what you see in her eyes, right? And all of us are attracted to something slightly different. So we're going to allow that variety to show up on stage so that it can appeal to more of the mass population that we truly, truly are. So please check out what we're doing at valentinesoiree.com. We're continuing to build the website as we go along with some of the surprises and information about the event. And there's lots of ways to get involved. So you'll see all of that at the website. And then if you have any thoughts, ideas, questions, then you can reach out to me directly. Thank you so much. And I look forward to partying with you, not just on February 12th, but in every single waking, living, breathing, and even sleeping moment. Many blessings.